What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. Please do go and check out our website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, for the latest Tottenham news and articles. But let's get into the update, as we've got quite a big one on the Mickey van de Ven injury. First of all, Porro said yesterday that Mickey van de Ven was at Hotspur away today, and the photo circulating of him and Son is from today. However, there is no definitive answer to the extent of the injury at this exact moment, and it's now looking that Tottenham will have to wait until Friday before the Mickey van de Ven has his scan due to swelling. Ali Gold says that Tottenham have received an injury boost with the news that Mickey van de Ven does not require surgery on his hamstring. While the recovery timeline is not yet clear on van de Ven, with more assessments required, Spurs believe that the initial observations this week, surgery will not be required and the defender will be able to recover through treatment with the club's medical staff at Hotspur Way. Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham are confident that Mickey van de Ven will not need surgery on the hamstring injury, although it's still not clear how long he'll be sidelined for. And finally, Matt Law says that Tottenham fear Mickey van de Ven is set for a lengthy spell out injured, despite hoping he will not require surgery. Estimates suggest that van de Ven could be out until January at the earliest, although Tottenham are yet to put a firm timescale on his return.
Yeah, so it's not in terms of van de Ven and his long-term prospects in terms of his injury, how it will affect him long-term. The fact that he doesn't need surgery is a massive positive. If he can heal from it just with the recovery period, I think that's very positive for the long-term effects of his hamstring if he doesn't need surgery. But in terms of looking at the short term of it, it's still very negative. Obviously, he's out till January at the earliest. It's not positive news. I guess it's not 3 months, maybe, but we still haven't got definitive. We haven't got definitive word when in January or from Tottenham how long it's going to be. Maybe it will be further than January, and in that case, it could be 3 months out. So I think we have to plan. Well, we're not going to have Van de Ven for the near future, and I think January has to be with that in mind for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if it's at the end of, just seeing as we don't have many games in January, it's only, I think, 2 Premier League games and potentially 2 FA Cup games. If it comes at the end of January, it is 3 months, because obviously November, December, January. But look, it's going to be hard without him massively. I think he's the one player, not the one player, but one of the players that if he was to get into long-term injury would massively suffer. I'm not sure how we can cope in the long term, especially for the length of 3 months without his recovery pace. We don't have anyone that can kind of replicate that. And it's just a massive kick in the teeth for him to be injured. I kind of like, in the back line, he was like the least one I wanted to get injured out of all of them. Like, I think if it was Romero in this situation and we'd have Van de Ven for the next 3 months, I think we could cope with it a lot more than if it was Van de Ven. So it's a massive kick in the teeth, isn't it?
Yeah, but they gave us false hope with that picture yesterday, didn't they? They saw Van de Ven shaking hands with Son without any strapping on his hamstring.
There was nothing, yeah.
Or without any crutches as well. So you're thinking, why is he walking around without crutches or hamstring? You saw how he could barely walk after the game on Monday. So you're thinking, how is that even possible? But I guess he's having a scan, as Porro said, on Friday. So we'll learn more about it. But Twitter went into a bit of a frenzy yesterday after that happened. But it seems as though not a bit of nothing, but that doesn't really mean he's not injured, obviously.
Yeah, like you say, we'll learn more tomorrow after that scan does take place. But in terms of other injury news, Paul O'Keefe says that Maddison, Porro and Richarlison all didn't train yesterday. We know Richarlison, he came out and said that he's going for an operation. Maddison went off injured in the last game. Porro had his own problems, but it is worrying that they're not training, especially Porro, because if Porro is out for this weekend, literally our whole back line is out.
Yeah, for Maddison's point of view, I think how many times has he not trained and then turned up on Friday and played? So I'm not saying I'm not worried about it, because it's obviously a big possibility he might miss out on Saturday, but all I'm saying is just because he hasn't trained doesn't mean he's not going to play. Porro obviously had that problem in the first half against Chelsea, kind of battled through it, did have a good second half, but if he's out, considering our injuries, Emerson's already needed at either centre-back or left-back probably, so if now Porro's also out for at least a game, then I don't know where that leaves our full-back situation, unless Davis is back and then we play Emerson and then Davis and maybe someone else can fill in at centre-back. But yeah, literally at the moment we're dropping like flies. And then Richarlison apparently, so he's not going to have surgery before the game on Saturday, and then apparently during the international break he's going to have the surgery.
Right.
And then we'll see how long he's out for as well. It's not clear what the surgery's for, or how long it's going to be. I don't know if it's a quick one or if it's something that's going to keep him out for a while. We'll have to wait and see. But I think he's going to wait till after the Wolves game.
Yeah, in terms of Ben Davies, Ange did say before the last game that they were going to have some last-minute tests and maybe he could make it. So that makes me think that he could be ready for the game this weekend, which we actually desperately need him now, especially if Porro is out. And that's the state of affairs that we're in, where we desperately need Ben Davies to play. And what is our backline going to be if Porro is out? So let's just assume, because we have to assume that Ben Davies is going to be fit. So Davies left back, Emerson right back, and what we talk about, Ashley Phillips and Dyer in the middle.
Yeah, or maybe Højbjerg. Centre back, one of those two options. Back to last season, I guess. That's pretty much all, except for wasn't a back five, but literally
get Højbjerg and skip in the middle.
Davies making a grand return, a big return. Can't wait.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to some potential incomings. Matti Moretto says that Tottenham and Roma have been monitoring Genoa attacking midfielder Albert Gudmundsson since this summer. Spurs have sent scouts on more than one occasion to watch the 26-year-old who have scored 5 goals in 11 Serie A performances this season.
Yeah, he seems to be having a good season for Genoa, who I think themselves having a decent season, but can't say I know too much about him. He's 26 years of age and he looks like he's being a bit of a late bloomer. Last season in Serie B, I was looking, he got 11 goals in Serie B last season, which is decent, but it's not like he's like some really young winger who like is bursting onto the scene. He's obviously a bit of an established player, but his underlying stats definitely look decent. Like his dribbling stats and passing stats look decent. Successful take-ons. I think he's one of the best in Europe this season. So maybe they're looking at that profile statistically and thinking, even though he's 26 and hasn't really had the most amazing career up to this point, maybe stats-wise they see a bit of value in the market which no one else is seeing. So that's a possibility, but he's not of name or a player. If you look at his career, that screams like this is a star in the making. But you know, they've made some good calls in data-wise recently, so why not? Exactly,
and they've gone down a new route where they're heavily reliant on the data analytical approach. And if this is the route they want to go down, and this is a player that they've earmarked or they've scouted out that could be of value to us, then I'm all for it, to be honest. Moving on to another player who could be, or who Spurs are potentially targeting, is Ben Godfrey. As 90 Min says, the Everton defender Ben Godfrey is emerging as a transfer target for several Premier League sides, including Tottenham Hotspur and Newcastle. He's a player that has been targeted by Spurs before. I remember when he was at Norwich, Spurs were heavily linked with him. He did end up going to Everton. But what would your opinion be on Godfrey?
I like Godfrey. I think he's really good. I think he's tall, physical, he's quick, he's versatile as well. I've seen him play at left back, I've seen him play at right back, and I've seen him obviously predominantly play at centre back, which has been his best position for Everton. I think whenever he's fit, more often than not, he's in that Everton starting 11. I think he's one of the more trusted defenders there. I really like him. I think he's actually decent on the ball as well. Can travel a bit with it. I don't know about his passing, but I think he's quite a decent ball carrier, and he's quite quick on the ground as well. And I think that versatility can definitely be useful to us. The only problem is he's got a few injury problems.
That's what I was literally just looking up, because like when I think about Ben Godfrey, I think about injuries, because he does seem to be injured quite a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem that he's had in his Everton career. But when he's been fit, I'm pretty sure he's played most of the time.
To be fair, he's only had one big injury for Everton. That's not too bad. So he joined there in 2020 or the end of 2020. He missed one game in 2020, and then he had one big injury in 22-23 season last year with a broken fibula where he missed 15 games. But apart from that, he hasn't really had that many injuries.
And he's homegrown as well. I think he kind of fits the bill. I don't think he's like unbelievable, but I think if you're looking for like a stopgap, or even a player who can play in multiple positions, who can fit the style of player we want, I think he probably does fit that, to be fair. I think he could be good enough to fill in. I think maybe we didn't look at him because of his... I don't know when he came back. Did he come back at the beginning of the season? Or is he back? Is he still injured?
No, he's not injured at the moment. His last injury was August the 6th till November the 5th.
2022, last season.
22, yeah.
Okay, so I think he's definitely one we should be looking at.
And like in his whole career, he's only ever had 2 injuries where he's been out for more than a week, pretty much. which is not bad at all.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. So, yeah, I mean, I rate Ben Godfrey. I always have, to be honest, and I was actually massively in favour of signing him when he was at Norwich. So if we could get him, I think you can do a lot worse than Ben Godfrey as a cover for the backline, that's for sure.
I guess if you're weighing him up against someone like Lloyd Kelly, probably he's going to be more expensive, I'd assume. So that would be the drawback. But yeah.
Let's see, what's the situation with Ben Godfrey's contract? 2025, yeah. His market value on transfer market is decreasing every year, though, which could be a plus for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And last but not least, we're going to have some more quotes from Sonny on Ange Postecoglou. And the quote is, "Only after Ange arrived at this club, I realized that I am still a student of the game. I'm 31 years old. I know well about my life and went through many ups and downs, but Ange has already left an immeasurable impact on me as a player and as a human. He gives me many pieces of valuable advice, and not only on football, but also of things in my life that aren't easy to talk about. It amuses me. He is having an incredible impact on the players. We are so glad to have met him. The way he talks in the dressing room before the matches is really incredible. It makes my heart pound. It makes you want to go out on the pitch and give everything for him and for this football club. This has brought a big difference. The gaffer is the type of manager who always looking for ways to improve. The ways he approaches every single game with his style of play to suit our players perfectly. We have a clear understanding of what the demands are of us and how important those demands are. I think he is doing an incredible job. He is a manager who doesn't leave his players out there worried. He is someone who makes you believe that no matter who plays his system, it will shine. There is no reason for the players to doubt him." Now, I've never heard such amazing words about a manager of Tottenham Hotspur by a player.
Yeah, 100%. And clearly, again, it shows the impact Ange is making on the team. And the last quote there, it just shows how he's giving all the players confidence to go out there and play the way that Ange Postecoglou wants them to play, and play that attacking, intense style of football with the confidence knowing that if they make mistakes, that Ange will take responsibility for it and he's not going to blame them. And it's such a difference to last season. And I've seen some of his team talks, obviously not for Tottenham, but obviously for previous, for Australia and for other teams he's managed. And, you know, you can't help even watching it, just getting motivated. And he speaks so well. And clear, he's one of those guys who, you know, there's reports that he doesn't even speak that much during the week, but he's like, it seems like one of those guys that when he talks, you listen, and like he only speaks when he's got something substantial to say. He doesn't like small talk and all these kind of things. So I think Sonny obviously clearly acknowledging that, and he's even though Sonny's 31, he's seen a lot in the game. He's saying he's even become a student under Ange, and you have to remember that. Even though, you know, we played attacking football under Pochettino, you know, back in when he was manager, like this is very different under Ange. This is very much a different way of playing, and it's very different way of playing attacking football. Poch was very much being about pressing and hounding the opposition. Ange is much more based on being in possession, having rotations, and being fluid on the ball. And that is something that we haven't really seen at Tottenham, to be honest, in the Premier League. So that is maybe what Son is gathering from on the pitch kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about Gudmundsson since he's come to Spurs, all the different styles and different philosophies that he's been through. At first Pochettino, then moving on to Jose and Conte and Nuno, and now Ange Postecoglou. I mean, he's had to be a student and learn many different things throughout his whole time. But these glowing references you're seeing from the players, not just from Sonny, but from everyone coming out about Ange Postecoglou, it's just music to all our ears, and it kind of confirms in our mind what we're actually seeing on the pitch is actually true, to be honest.
100%.
So that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we've brought to you today. Go and check out WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk for all the latest articles and written content. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.